Welcome to the Default Podcast, the show for Power Platform admins, architects, and leaders who want to stay ahead of the curve. Each episode, we bring you insights, best practices, and real-world stories from the people shaping the future of low-code administration. Hey, everybody. Welcome to the Default Podcast, the podcast for Power Platform admins. Today, we have Sid Gundavarapu, who is joining us. He's a principal PM at Microsoft. He's a close friend of both Akash and myself. So, Sid, thanks for joining us today. And why don't you tell everybody a little bit about yourself?
Thanks for having me, Andrew. Hey, everyone. I hope some of you would recognize me with our other interactions at the conferences and on our calls. I am Sid Gundavarapu. You got it pretty accurate this time.
That's close. I was trying so hard.
My role in Microsoft. You'll get it right. Perfect. Next time. So my role in Microsoft is as a product manager in the Power Platform administration side. So we build features for all of our customers within the admin center. I specifically look into two primary areas. One is default environment. I know the default podcast, it's my personal love-hate relationship as well. And also talking about AI in the admin space. So that's the second one which we are looking into.
Yeah, it's not only you with the default environment love and hate, it's everyone. Yeah. So since I want to just set the ground and get the warm up. So I know there is what are the problems are you most focused on for the admins right now? As you mentioned, like default environments and like that, that's you are working with.
Yeah, so default environment is top of mind. You all told me many times, in a lot of our customers, we share the pain, we share the frustration. So there's a lot of work that's going on in terms of simplifying how you can govern default environment, how you can govern the resources that can come into default environment and then not dump them into the default. One of the first significant investments, I would say, is the routing. Environment routing, for people who are not familiar, this is a configuration that you do at a tenant level, helps you to move people out of the default when they first get into the Power Platform real estate, where they go into maker portals for Power Apps or Power Automate or Copilot Studio. They will be taken to the respective maker portals, not in the default environment, but in their personal dev environment, which gets created on the fly. What it does is, as a maker, I come in, if I'm new to Power Platform, I don't understand the nuances of what an environment is, what tenant is. I have a business problem. I want to solve something. When I come in there, that's the last thing I'm going to worry about, but that's the first thing that the admin is going to worry about. Where is it going? So now we bridge the gap with this routing where an admin can go and say, all of the people in my finance should go into this group of environments where I govern. I give them certain connectors. I give them certain privileges they can play with. And then similarly, a different group can go into a different environment. Now, as a maker, when I go in, I am automatically routed into that bucket of policies that is applicable for me at the point. And then when I focus on my business problem, I don't have to worry about all of the surrounding problems that may hit me now or hit my colleagues in the future. Right? So that's a significant investment. Right? The next significant investment we are also doing from the default environment point of view is we know there are millions of artifacts, resources in the default environment today. The routing is not going to help for those. So how can we retroactively go and pluck this out of the default environment, move them into the respective destinations in a meaningful way? So one of the things that is public preview right now is the ability to migrate certain Canvas apps and certain SharePoint forms out of the default environment, either through UI or through some kind of automations that you can do on top of the APIs. That's a pattern that we want to make it generally available. We want to bring that for more resource types, more Canvas apps, more apps in general, flows, which is a significant ask from a lot of you all.
Oh, yeah.
And then help you migrate all of this out. So that is one big aspect of what I look into. And then the second aspect of my day-to-day and top of mind for me, so I know you asked me top of mind, I'm saying two top of minds. Second one is about how can we give more autonomous visibility and actionability for the admins with the new age AIs and agents, all of this. How can we help admins leverage these technologies in operating the tenant in a much more efficient and less cumbersome way?
So, Sid, you mentioned that okay, there is a public preview. I think it will be great for the admin community to, if you can provide us the link, and we can put that into the description of the podcast. Is there any idea on when that feature is gonna be generally available? Because I know many of the admin doesn't like to play with the public preview because it's constantly changing from the UI standpoint and the functionality of that feature.
Yeah, absolutely. I will share the details. If you have been to Power Platform Admin Center, which I'm hoping everybody in this audience goes to, you go into the actions and recommendations, you should see a preview recommendation which says migrate your resource out of your default environment. That's the in-product experience. I'm going to also share with you the docs, Akash and Andrew, you can link it offline. Coming back to the GA timeline, before I share the dates, one of the interesting things about this particular recommendation, which also validates my earlier comments about the default environment, the frustrations in general, this particular the activity for this particular recommendation is off charts even during previews. I 100% agree with you in terms of previews and customers not using preview features as much, but this one seems like an outlier. Now, I know a lot of people still do not use previews as a fact. So now we are excited to see when we GA this in upcoming weeks, how much adoption is going to drive, how much of cleanups this is going to drive across the board for all of the customers.
Well, and Sid, like you've been working on Advisor for, I mean, years now, haven't you?
That's
So, I mean, really, Advisor itself is GA. You're just
Mhm.
now starting to slot in, additional functionality, right? So,
That's correct.
yeah, so that's, I mean, and we've all seen the value from Advisor on our side, and also, initially we named the podcast the Default Podcast, and then you started doing all this work, and we thought, oh no, we're not going to be able to call it the Default Podcast anymore because you're going to clean it up, right?
It's still the default. So default environment is not going away. There is real reason why default exists, and it's going to exist until we figure out some magical new way of managing the first run experience. So I would say you have a good runway with this title for your podcast. But yeah, even you have been on the advisor journey from day one since we started playing with it. Andrew,
Yeah.
thanks for being a private preview customer for many of our features. And if you remember, advisor is one recommendation for
Yep.
significant amount of time
Mm-hmm.
before we started adding more recommendations. Now we have hundreds of recommendations in Advisor, and the platform itself, the recommendation platform itself, is generally available for almost more than 2 years now. So as we add more recommendations, depending on the nature of the recommendation, we either directly put the recommendation into the GA mode, or we say, okay, maybe we'll just put that particular recommendation as a preview for people to just validate and then see if there are any incompletions or any rough edges before we can take it into GA. So, yeah,
Well,
right,
and like, yeah,
right track.
like backing into that. So I think like that's you, that's how you're helping people fix what they have in there. Like I go in and constantly I see, what are the things that we need to pay attention to, which are some of the things that maybe I wouldn't have thought about. And then if we think about this at like enterprise at scale. So, and what, you're showing us now are the thousands of apps, thousands of flows, thousands of agents. Um, and where does that admin experience break? Thinking about that, and then how should an admin be thinking about how to use this, given their their day to day experience?
Absolutely. That's a great question. In fact, this is one of the areas where we feel we could do a better job in product explaining how admins can do at a scale. We give lots of tools, but then we leave it to your creativity on how to solve the problem. I think that's where the last mile connectivity is still missing in the product. On us 100%. I have the power to make changes, which I'm not using that power right now. But one of the ways we see customers, and we hope customers do, is every single thing that we show on the UI, especially in terms of recommendations, but in general for lots of other things on the admin center, they are all API accessible. Most of the things on admin center now are API accessible. Plug for Lane, my colleague, you should talk to them. He is amazing. You both know him. He has done amazing work, working with hundreds of feature crews, getting their API, getting their features API accessible. Right. So now with that, and then there is also the admin for V2 connector, which also was, I think,
Yes.
GA last year. So it's almost a year now that got in. So now, either if you're a person who likes to write scripts and then automate that way, or you use flows and automate that way, or you're a new age like you, Andrew, who wants to create agents and do it that way. Now you have these tools that you can use to invoke the same functionality that you see on the UI, but then also add your business logic on top of it. Like, for example, cleaning up of default environments, right? So on the UI, you can click on a button, it asks a couple of questions, and then you complete the process. But now, as part of the flow, as part of the script, you can apply a logic. Like if you want to take all of the apps that are owned by Sid and move them into Sid's Sid's personal dev environment, now you can use that script to go and get Sid's personal dev environment and then use the APIs that got provided and then just let the platform work for you when that script runs in a loop. So that's how we hope and we want the admins to leverage our tech. Again, as I mentioned, there is still some discoverability problems. Some of you all figured out. You go into the docs, you figured out what's new, and then you built it. But from the UI, we should do a better job.
It's, so like, and that's interesting if you think about like where a lot of us came in with the COE starter kit and what that exposed and what that did for us, and that transparency that we didn't have before. And then as we have started to scale, all of us, I think it's interesting that we all, to your point, based on if it's what the type of industry is that we're in, and we have different things that we need to do in order to administer it. And I love the fact that you are now coming at it as an API first approach, and I think that says a lot about the admin community as well. That everybody is, that they're going to figure it out, and then that visual layer is just a nice to have on the backside.
That's actually. It's actually a good thing and a bad thing, because we know that you all are more technical than our typical other audience that we deal with, like the citizen developers. They are not very super technical, but we know our admin audience are fairly technical. So that give us the opportunity as a product manager. I would say, oh, if I give an API, admins will figure out. Right. So now the other things of doing this last mile connectivity that I was talking about becomes a lower priority. Again, putting my PM hat or product manager hat, I say, okay, we solved the problem and our audience can consume that in the way we provided. So the thing that we could do next is now a lower priority for us. Like that's a PM hat. But of course we have to solve it. We will solve it someday.
How often do people also get themselves in trouble? I mean, also with that, great power comes great responsibility, and you do it.
And now since we are moving, like as you mentioned, right, that API is become the first approach, right? And now also the AI is coming towards that, right? Agents and everything. So as we move to the semi-autonomous agents, what fundamentally changes about the governance, and what should admin learn and unlearn about that?
So first thing, it's a loaded question. So let's unpack it a bit. So let's look at the journey of few personas and see how the transition with the invent of AI. I'll start with myself as a product manager. The way I operated 2 years back is 100% so different than how I operate now, how I work today.
Yes.
And now the devs, if you look at my dev peers, counterparts, their day-to-day also significantly is different than few months ago. Significant shift. Even the makers, the way they build the resources or they build the apps and flows and agents is again significantly different than how they used to do few months back. We haven't seen the transition to admins. At least personally, I haven't seen the transition happening for admin persona. So that's one of my primary aspiration on how the way you operate can shift that dramatically in a good way. Okay? So I love the current way of working, because now all the laborious things that I used to work on, which are necessary for my day to day, is now offloaded to my agents, is given, and then I am now the manager of these agents, looking at, okay, I have 10 agents working on, what are these agents doing? Do I need to instruct an agent? Do I need to unblock an agent? That's primary of the grunt work I do, right? And then my most significant time now is on thinking deeply and then ideating with my colleagues, doing this more deeper conversations with my colleagues in establishing the strategy, establishing the roadmaps. So I don't have to spend so much time on the grunt. So it gives me that freedom. Same for the engineers. The way, coming back to the admin persona, you said semi-autonomous. I'm going to push a little further and say autonomous, right? So let's go all in. Right?
Yeah.
So
Why not?
I'll go all
we'll
in.
talk about that too. we'll talk about that too. So from an admin persona, admin point of view, you 100% of I'm confident that there's a lot of this laborious work. One of our, you know him, I'm not going to name him on the podcast. In one of the calls, he coined term is amazing. It's stuck in my head. It's a police work. So there's a lot of investigation that's needed. Some ticket comes in for me to, as an admin, to understand what's happening, the root cause. There's a lot of police work that happens before you can take action. So these are the things that are in my head grunt work. So it is necessary. It is required for you to take action, but it takes so much of your time that you can use somewhere else. So when you say
Yes.
autonomous or semi-autonomous, we want these agents to be able to help you accelerate that police work or completely offload that police work and then review it and then let the actions also take place. So again, we want the admins also to become managers of the admin agents. So you have a bunch of agents which are specialized in certain things, and then you can monitor what the agents are working on, what the agents are doing on your behalf based on the guardrails you provide, based on the levers or the controls that you give your agents.
So you said two things there. I want to maybe go into just a little bit more. The first, you were saying that it's giving you more time to do that deep work, the thinking work. And I think that's really, really important because we as admins need to slow down in order to not make those mistakes, which then leading into what you're talking about with the autonomous agents or semi-autonomous. And I don't think there's probably any of us out there that are ready yet to just let the agent make the call all the way through. But with the right data, which we do have, depending on, how we've wired up, the Power Platform Admin Center, how long we're keeping our logs, all of those things, the capability for these tools to see those signals and understand maybe where that signal routes to, it can uncover, especially right now, like thinking about safety and security of everything, there's going to be that capability for it to see things that we cannot see and to ultimately prevent them before they become something bigger. Do you feel like that's kind of what you're seeing?
100%, yes. So that's the direction. So again, I'm going to take a few maybe year back. Like year back, you were on this call. We have the monthly or bi-weekly call. One of the times where we pitched, hey, let's talk about agents for admins. The first thing was don't talk about agents for admins. That
It's
was
like Fight Club.
Yeah, it was like a fight club. Now we are talking about agents doing some of the work, but not all of the work. If we don't do anything, we'll be in a place where in a couple of years, admins will say, yeah, I'm going to give my agents, let my agents do the work. That's if you see the trend for other industries, other work job disciplines, that's the trend we have seen. It's I am if I'm a betting guy, I would bet that that's going to happen for admins too. A couple years down the road, admins are going to say, okay, I want to give this work to to my agent. Let it run. It's going to come.
Yes.
But what we want to do is how can we make it more comfortable?
Yeah.
Accelerate the timeline, get it closer, and then give you control back on what you want to delegate to the agents. I know personally some of the admins out there, they use M365 Copilot and some external Copilots too, and give some of the information, dump it there, and then ask questions on that, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
That is the first foray of admins into the Copilots on the agentic workloads. It's not doing the last mile. It's not doing the end-to-end job. It's still helping you do some work for you, which is outside the product. Technically, it should all be in the box where you're already going there, where you're already seeing stuff, and then you are now taking the control back and then doing the work. Not all of the activities that you as an admin can be delegated. because there are some destructive ones. You're not comfortable. Truly, you're not comfortable because of the level of impact of that action.
Yeah.
So you want to be personally reviewing, clicking the buttons, or writing that script, hand coding them today. Couple of years, maybe that's going to change too. But there are lots of other actions that are not as impactful or not as critical that only Andrew should click the button. It can be an agent clicking the button and reporting back to Andrew that, hey, I did this work. Do you like it? Keep it. You don't like it? I'm going to revert it back for you. So we can. There is a middle ground that we can come to first before we go. We can go and say Andrew's agent is going to do all of Andrew's work. Andrew can go party. That's not happening.
So it's just like, okay, having the groundwork done by the agents and then comes to the admin to make that decision. So, which is, I think, the beginning of the journey. And as you mentioned, like there are some admins outside where they have leveraged agents where they have like a SharePoint site for the admins where it follows the policies, procedure, everything is being written there, like what is allowed, what is not allowed, what you can do, what is your guardrailing. They dump that everything into the agents and then give it to the citizen developers where they don't have to go to the admins. They can directly interact with the agents and makes easier life for the admins also.
And part of it, like if you think about too, as you were talking about the Sid, I was thinking, years ago, and I'm sure Akash, you probably were the same way. You weren't willing to let a Power Automate flow go and do everything that you probably let it do that you feel comfortable with it doing now. So it was really that just proving time to get there, right?
Yes.
Wow.
And
okay.
Everything takes time, right?
Yeah, everything. Yeah. Exactly. So, all right, we've been talking for a while here, so we're going to kind of put you, Sid, into the lightning round here, because we really
I give
appreciate your time.
long-winded answers, so let's see how far lightning it is.
So what we're gonna have, you're gonna become like a regular guest. So at a certain point we're gonna have to start sending fruit baskets or something. So so thank you. Tell us one governance decision that teams regret not making early. So like think about like some like greenfield people who are really just coming into this. What do you think that is a regret for those of us who've done it that should have been done earlier?
Should I pick one or can I do two?
You do two. Absolutely.
Go two.
Yeah.
Okay.
We'll love it.
First one, I'd say the new admin center. So new admin center we should have done so much earlier. It's every time I go into admin center, it's not a cringe fest anymore. I see it and say, okay, I'm a small part of that admin center. Other colleagues, they did a lot of work, but it feels like, yes, this is a professional product that we built. And I don't know why we did not do that sooner. The other one is managed environments. Plug, but managed environments is such a great concept. I know it's not working. It won't work for all customers the same way for others, but for people who are all in, it's a great way for us to say, okay, now this is this advanced governance layer. Now we don't have to worry about what are the COGS impact, what are the monetization impact, all of that. So now we have that freedom of, okay, can I go like the agent workloads, a deep work that requires lots of processing power, which would have been so hard sell for us to say, okay, I'm going to spend so much of money to build this and to operate on this. Now, with managed environments, those are all most of the times are justified investments. So now if you see the newer set of the capabilities that are coming out from the managed environments, they are more rigorous, more intense processing behind. Yeah. And we have the leverage now to go and do all of those. And then as you will see this more and more, where more work that comes out are doing so many layers of processing, which is more COGS intensive, which is more AI intensive, which takes more tokens, all of those. Now we don't have to double, triple doubt and then go beg for approvals. We have lots of freedom. So I would say, okay, maybe we should have done this a couple of years ago. So we would have been somewhere else now.
Yeah, I'm team managed environment all the way. We couldn't do what we do without it. But the other thing too, I was thinking about when you're talking about the Power Platform Admin Center, and the thing that I forget to use, and then when I do use it, is the search bar now. Like just like searching for what it is I need to do in the Admin Center. So for those of you who haven't used it yet, hit the search bar.
Please
It's
use,
awesome.
search is
Yeah.
amazing, and we
It's
just had a
amazing.
discussion last week to make it even better. No, I don't personally own that, but it's lots of great people, lots of great minds thinking about that. Search, please use search.
So now I'm gonna ask one more lightning question. Is like, what is the most underrated admin capabilities is out there?
You should tell me that. I'm a product guy. I want to say my features are the most underrated ones, but you should tell me. You should tell me what you feel is the most underrated. Let me flip that.
Ooh. I'm trying to think what's most underrated. I mean, I'm always going to say, I don't know, because it's a, it's contentious, but a managed environments to me, that's the one, because like you said, everything that keeps layering with it right now, it's that base thing. And it's the number one thing that I would tell anybody, man, just find a way to start using it, explain to people the value of this platform is becoming more complex, not less. And
Yes.
we're talking about it becoming the intelligent platform, intelligent apps, everything like that. I don't know how you're going to do it without it just being a ton of work for you. So that on my side, that's what I would say.
Yeah, and adding on top of that, I think Advisor would be a really nice features, because now there is like, okay, you have tons and thousands of the resources that has to be managed, right? Advisor is giving your recommendation and actions that you can take, like, okay, unused applications, owners which is no longer exist within your organizations, right? Those things before the Advisor, we had to go and dig them out, right? That, okay, hey, give us that information from the COE starter kit or anything. Now, Advisor is giving us that recommendation. And I know me and Sid was like, back in like, a year ago, we were like, okay, after hours, we were having those discussions and everything, like, okay, what should be better? So I think Advisor is also the really good features, which is available in the PPAC. That is currently, I think,
Thanks for
not
picking those two.
most of the admin is using it.
Yeah.
I would also pitch in APIs. So in general, API being able to script things. I'm a CLI guy myself. I use UI if I have to do one thing, but if it's a repetitive thing, I don't want to go and click the same buttons every single time. So having that API layer is, in my opinion, underrated. Not a lot of people take advantage of it. Not a lot of people are comfortable taking advantage of it, but people who are should take advantage of APIs. And everything in Advisor is API accessible. Everything in managed environments, most of things, I don't know if there is anything which is missing, but most of things in managed environments should be API accessible. So I would rate that as my underrated one.
I would agree with you on that one. I think so. I think that leads us, and we'll let you go here. We won't do the lightning round. Which one was default environment? Keep, constrain, or eliminate? We won't do that one to you. But just to kind of taking us out. Like I said,
keep and constraint is fine. Eliminate, let's not head yet.
If so just for our listeners, so like just as they're going away, what should admins be paying attention to next? Like, what do you think is like the next big thing, or like the area that they should really pay attention to?
So personally, I would, for anyone who hasn't started on the journey of using AI in their day-to-day, you should today. Start today. Just start with some random question that you heard today or you had to solve today. See if AI can help. Unless you get your hands wet and then start playing with it, you will not get creative in how else it can help you.
Yeah.
This was a personal learning experience for me where I was pre-filtering a lot of things on what I would ask AI. Now my mind automatically goes to AI, my CLI, where my GitHub Copilot is, and Claude, and we have other things in Microsoft M365 Copilot. Naturally goes. I don't apply my first level of filter for everything now. There are still some things where I apply my first level of filter, but if let's say you ask me something, I'm going to go and ask, okay, can you give this for me, or do you do this? I give my problem to AI, make it AI's problem, and then see how far AI can go with it, and then see if AI is on the wrong track, and I feel that I can bring it back on track. I steer AI or the copilots to get
Mhm.
there. But if I see that it's not going to get into where I need it to, then that's where I feel like, okay, now Sid needs to come in and do it himself. So I'm going to do it myself to a point where I now can give it back to AI. So that's how
Yeah.
I'm operating. I believe personally, I see significant productivity gain with that approach. And
Mhm.
I would advocate not just for the admin friends, everybody, my kids. I tell my kids if they have a question, I should tell them to go Google it or Bing it. But now I say, okay, why don't you ask ChatGPT this question?
Yeah.
Let's see what it says, and then we can critique on that. So it's an amazing technology
Mhm.
that's here. That's for here. So it's not hype anymore. It's proven. It's worth.
Yeah.
So for admins, please try it out. And if you have already tried it out, push your limits. See how far more you can go with it. Keep it within your comfort. Still, you don't want to delegate actions. And I heard it from you. So how far you can stretch that AI to do work for you? That's an important, interesting experience for everyone.
Yeah, and that's good. And I think I'll add on to that one thing too. Just thinking about the end date where models are trained. The one thing that I do now is I'll go to like the Microsoft.Learn for the documentation for Power Platform or for Admin Center, and I will add that into my question because it is changing so quickly. And sometimes if I
Yeah.
don't, I may not get the right answer. So I always try to use that as that grounding data there.
Yeah, you can just ask. Like I know some of we ship a lot of features. We don't keep track of things, and you can just go into Copilot and ask, okay, what changed in the Power Platform Admin Center? Look at the Learn Docs, Microsoft Learn Docs, and give me a summary of everything that changed, and then maybe you can make it overloaded and say, okay, you of course this requires some free work, so you have to train your AI that this is the context that I'm going to be, this is my role. So your AI understands a little bit more about you. Then you can do it second level where you can say, okay, what changed it? How can it help me?
Mm-hmm.
And then the third layer is do it for me.
Yep.
Yes.
So you can layer get into layers of productivity.
Yeah.
It's amazing tech.
Well, gosh, there it is. That's so, use the tools, learn the tools. Yeah. And Sid, we know there's going to be a lot of great stuff that keeps coming out from you, from your team. And so
Absolutely.
from us, thank you. I think from every other admin who has known you or met you or uses your tools, thank you for everything you all are doing.
Oh, thank you all.
Yeah.
Thank you for being customers. Thanks for this podcast. I love chatting with you both.
Awesome.
Thank
all right.
you so much.
Thanks.
Yep. Thank you, Sid.
Thank you
See
all.
you,
Bye.
Sid. Yeah.